So this is the second class of our Java level 1. And I hope you already have your Eclipse downloaded. So if you do, then please launch Eclipse. So you let me share my screen to you. So if I install my Eclipse here, so you go to your Eclipse folder and then double click on Eclipse exe. So you should get an interface like this. Okay. So can you all go ahead and launch Eclipse? All right. So after you launch Eclipse, so let's just do follow the slides. So I'm going to first get you guys familiarized with the interface. If you launch your Eclipse, you do not get an interface like this. Can you raise your hand? And then I can help you. So you all get to this interface now? Okay. So if you are at this interface, that's good. So what we need to do now is that you see this is our interface. Usually you see the middle part here is for us to write our code. Okay. So that it means here. So this you see I have so many Java files here. So every file I will use it for some purpose. So they are all the Java code. So we do the Java coding here. Now in this area, the bottom, usually that's the output. It is output. And the left hand side, usually is the project explorer. So you create a project there. So if you do not have a project right now, but let me show you. So if I have a project that I have all the files, you see these are all the files. Okay. These are project files I have here. So that's for you to organize your files. And this part is a little bit complicated. We do not need to touch it at this moment. So you do not have to worry about at this moment, okay? So here is all the common tools. Here is the menu bar. Okay, I hope you all have that. So once you get familiarized with this interface, all right, so then I will ask you to do one thing. So can you all follow me? You just come to this Eclipse, click on File, New, then Other, okay? File, New, Other. And you do not know what it is, then come to this panel, okay? Look at my screen. Click on Java, expand Java, and because we're going to do Java application, right? So then choose Java project here. Choose Java project. Once you choose the Java project, click next. Okay. So you will get this dialog box. So type in AOE. I cannot because I already have a project like that. So I cannot. So you just type in AOE You choose, okay, whatever jar JDK you installed last week. I think you have JDK 11. Just go to this drop down list and choose what you have, okay? Choose that. And then you just click finish, okay? If I use Java LE 1, then you see my finish button is enabled, and I can click finish. And I click on that. So let me stop here, and I wanted to check your work. So if you have problem, let me know. If not, then let me just ask two students to share your screen to me. Okay, Emily, can you share your screen to me? I wanted to make sure that you have the project created. Emily, oh, this is your first class? Okay. All right, so do you have a question for me? Do you have Java and Eclipse installed? I cannot hear anything.
Yeah, I have both of them installed.
Okay, you have Java and you have Eclipse installed. So can you go ahead and create a project? If you cannot create a project, then you cannot do anything else. So the rest of the class will be useless to you.
Yeah, I created the project.
Okay, good. So how about you, Claire?
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead. Cool. Okay. All right. So once you have the project created, okay, once you have the project created, then let's do this. You right click on your project, okay? Right click on the project. And then choose new. And then you will see a package here. Watch my screen. New package. Click on it. And then what do you do? Type in com.aoe.stem. I cannot do it anymore because I already have that package, but I want you to just type in com.aoe.stem and then click finish. Okay, I will leave this screen for another second. I want you guys to go ahead and do it. You need to right click on the project and then say new package, new Java package, okay? Do that. Okay, so once you finish that and you see you will have a package like this, com.aoe.stem there, right? And then can you look at my screen? You right click on the package now. You say new class. Can you just create a class like a stem? Okay, but watch my screen. You must click on this one, okay? For all convenience, check this box. Check it. Okay, check this box. So let me create this class. Right? So you say I will have a class like this. Okay, you say this is the package, this is the class. It looks like that. So now let me stop sharing, and I wanted to check your work. And if you have question, ask me now.
Can you go through the last two steps again?
Yes. All right, so you have the package created, right? After you have the package created, you right click on the package here. So this is the package you created. So you right click on it.
When you create like the package, I didn't get that.
Or you do not get the package, okay? So then when you have not created your package, then you right click on your project here. Right click on the project and then say new package. And give the package name com.aoe.stem. Okay. Okay, then click finish and you will got that. And once you have the package created, then you right click on the package and you see new class. Okay. And then make sure you check this one, okay? This box. And then now create a class. So the do it again, I'll do it with you together. I will name this AOE STEM. Okay. If you have a different name, that really does not matter at this moment, okay? So just go ahead and do it. But make sure you check this box and then click finish. Okay, then you will have when the class looks like this. All right, so let me stop sharing. So Erin, do you mind to share your screen to me? With a walk. Very good. Thank you. So how about you, Alex? Can you share yours to me? Alex. Very good. So you guys are following me very well. Very good. All right. So Arva, Eva, you will be the next one. Okay. I will call you, but let me just continue. So let me just continue. So after you create your project, so now let's just do something. Okay. So here these URLs very useful. I want you to keep it if you wanted to learn Java. So let me give this to you. And then I was talking about this class a little bit more. Okay, use that. All right. So Java basics. So let's talk about Java. If you learn the Python, then you will see that there are a lot of things that are shared between Java and Python. And some are very specific. So let's say case sensitive. If you learn the Python already, that's easy. So uppercase and the lowercase are two different things. Okay. There are two different things. Type sensitive, Python is not. You do not tell the system what type it is. Python itself will figure it out, but as Java, you will have to. So let me do some coding before afterwards, then we will come back to talk about this, okay? And then the variable must be declared, okay? You have to declare a variable, then you can use it. For Python, you declare a variable, just give it a name and give it a value. So that means you declared, but Java is different. Statement ends with a semicolon, okay? So what does it mean? It's very abstract to you right now. So let me just come back to my Java Eclipse here. So can you just type in int x equal to 7 semicolon, int y equal to 12 semicolon, and then int z equal to x plus y, right? So now let's just use this one. This one, do not ask me why, and I will tell you in the future. This just print out the result, okay? We just print out a z. Just print out a z, okay? So if you type slowly, so then let me just copy this code and give it to you. All right, so get that code. So you see, with that code typed in, you see if I right click in my code window, and then you will see run as, okay, Java application. So let me run it. You see what I got? You see I got this result printed out here, 19. Right? Okay. So then let me talk about the Java a little bit more now. You see Java, it's not like a Python. Python, you just type in code. Java, you have to have a class first. So you create this class, okay? And then you see this class, this name is exactly the same name as your file name. If I change it, let me just change it to AOE1. You see the system will not like it. You see, dislike it. So this class name must be exactly the same as your file name. Okay? So that's the class. That is the class. You have to have a class. Then you can run it. Okay? So understand that and remember it. And then this part, okay? You can also type in the code differently, okay? If I put the code offset, I put the code offset, all right? You see, it will not like this line of code. It will not like it because it does not think for a class you have a statement like that. It is executable. It will not be executed. So you have to have your code like this kind of statement in a method. Here you see we have a main method. All right. So let me remove that one. So okay, let me also, I want you guys just look at my screen, okay? Then you can try it. make a copy this highlight and copy it. Now you just remove it. If you remove it, if you save your code now, you right click on your class code window and you say run as. And then you say there's no Java application here. Java application is not available. So you do not have that choice. That means you cannot run this Java class. And then I want you to understand, okay? So let me just get this one back. So I'm not going to delete that one. So I will just get it back. So I have this method called main. So now if I save it, I run this, and you see I have no choice. Java application. So that means it's very important if you want to run that Java class, you have to have the main method in it. And that is also why when I ask you to create a new Java class, let me just show you that again. Okay. And you see, I ask you to check this box. If you do not check this box, if you do not check it, you will not have this method. So what is the method? We will learn it in the future. But you see, if you do this, okay, if you do this, it's obviously you see public static void main. So usually you check this, so you make your class runnable. If you do not want to make it runnable, it's okay. You do not check it. Okay, so let me just copy this again and remove it. If a class does not have a main method, it's okay. It is not a problem. Okay, so you see I have so many classes. Okay, here I have so many classes, and most of them they have the main method because they put the code in the main method so they can run it. But you see you can have other method in it. You do not have to have the main method. Okay, you do not have to have, as long as you do not want to run it itself. Okay, so if you wanted to run it, then you need that. So I got it back. I hope you understand this one. Now let's just learn this code anymore. Okay, so let me just take this code away. So you see in our code, the first word here is a data type. Here it is an integer. It's an integer. So that means in Java, all the variables, when you create it, you have to specify its type. If you do not specify its type, let me just remove it. The system will not like it. The system will not like it. So that's why you have to tell the system when you create the variable what type it is. Okay? What type it is. All right? So that is what, let's come back to the previous slide now. So we see it's type sensitive in Python. It is very, very sensitive on type. So you have to tell the system what type it is. It is also case sensitive. You see this is lowercase x, right? If I change it to an uppercase x, you see the system does not like it because the system does not know what lowercase x is. The system does not know because here what you defend is an uppercase x. So then the system get lost. It does not know what lowercase x is. So that means it's a case sensitive. Okay. Even though you do this, okay, x, y, z, this is your variable. Okay. So now if you use lowercase x, y, z, it does not know it. But if you change this one to uppercase x, now the system knows it. The system accepts it. So I hope you understand that lowercase and uppercase are two different things in the Java. All right. So let's just talk about it a little bit more. A variable must be declared. So what does it mean? You see, if I do not say what I do not define this, do not have this line, okay? Remove it. And then you see the system doesn't like it. The system does not know what X, Y, Z is. Doesn't know it. So it complains. So that means if you wanted to use a variable, the variable must be defined. So this line defines a variable. This line defines a variable. Okay, this line also defines a variable, but of course there's an operation here. Okay, so that means, yeah, it is a variable. It is must be declared. So then the statement ends with a semicolon. Okay, you see here, I have a semicolon here. That means this statement ends. You have a semicolon here. That means this statement ends. I have a semicolon here. That means the statement ends here. With this convenience, you can put multiple lines, multiple statements in one line, as long as you have a semicolon there, just like this one. You will get the same result. If I run it, okay, you get the same result. You say I get 19, because the semicolon determines the end of a statement. All right. Hopefully you got that. Then let's move on. Okay, how can I do a comment in a Python, in a Java? I do it this way. Okay, so if I wanted to do a comment, you see here, slash slash. If I do slash slash, and I will say declare variables. Okay, once you have a slash slash here, the system will ignore that line. This is just for human being, for another developer who come to read your code, they know what this is used for. Of course, in the future, I will talk about that. This is also used to generate a help file. Why do we need it? So let's just do this, okay? Let me go there. Let's just say Java string. You don't have to do it. Let me just do it. And then you see different version of Java. I click on this one. You see I get all those text here. And if you put those text in this class and then make it a comment, then a tool will come to read it and use them to generate a help file like this. So these are all the help file, okay? So it will it will generate it, but the system will not. The system will not execute it. It will ignore it. So for this, for one line comment, it does this way. If you wanted to do multiple line of comments, you do it this way. Slash and then asteroid. Then you close it in asteroid and then slash. Okay, now you make the whole block here a comments. If you have code like this, if you save it, you run it. If you run it, nothing will happen because there's no code to be executed. This code you put it here now becomes comments because you comment it out. So the system will ignore it. So if you wanted to do a block of comments, you do this way, okay? Slash asteroid, then asteroid slash, okay? So now let me take this out. We talk about the comments. Okay, now the blocks. Code block. In Python, probably we learn code block in week 7 or 8. In Java, you get into code block right away because that's the way. You see here in Java, when you create a class, you see the curly braces here. You see the curly braces here. So this open curly braces and this closing curly braces make the whole thing the body of the class. And you see here is the method. You have the curly braces here, and then you close it. So this open curly brace, this is the closing curly brace. Okay. So this is a code block for this method. We will learn more code block in the future, but you see in Java, everything is enclosed using the braces. Okay. All right. So now let's move on. Before I go to this slide, get deep into it. Do you have any questions so far? No question? Okay. All right. If no question, okay, let's move on to this one. These are just some Java statements. You see here we created a Boolean variable result, set its value to true. And then I created a character variable and set its value to C. And this is a variable name. And then I created a bat variable and set its value to 100. Create a short variable and then set its value to 10,000. I create an integer variable now I set its value to 1 million. So that's just some Java statement. Create a variable, and then just some different data types. We are going to learn the data type right away, okay? But just want you to be familiar with this. These are very simple Java statements. They just declare variable and assign a value to it, okay? You see every line, you have a semicolon in the end, okay? And you see all the variable, you have to tell the system what type it is. All right. Okay, now let's move on. So let me get someone to read this slide for me. So let's understand what is a variable. Okay. So let me get Eva. Can you help me read this slide?
Okay, so a variable is a named unit of data that may be assigned a value. If the value is modified, the name does not change. Next one.
Keep going.
Some variables are mutable, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Meaning their values can change. Other variables are immutable, meaning their value once assigned cannot be deleted or altered. And if a variable's value must conform to a specific data type, it is called a type variable.
Thank you. So very good. So you say a variable is just the named unit of data. So you do not use the value itself, you use the variable. And you think, okay, the variable just like a container. So it holds something in it. Okay, you can hold, today you can put a ball into it, tomorrow you can put like a ball into it, right? and then the next day you can put a bob into it. But here in Java, you can assign it to different value, but must make sure they are of the same type. Okay, so let's move on. So please spend 3 minutes on this website. Okay, let me give you this website URL. Go ahead and then go to this website and then read it. This was actually, this website is very helpful. You can get a lot of information from this website, and it's also very straightforward. Go ahead and read it. All right, I want to come back now. So I just, summarize here. This variable must be declared. We already talked about that. If you do not declare a variable, you cannot use it. A variable must have a type, and we talk about that. And a variable cannot be redefined. So what does it mean? So here you see I have a variable XYZ here. So now can I do, can I do like I wanted to make a variable XYZ double, okay? XYZ now equal to 10.2. Can I do that? No, it doesn't like it. Even you wanted to redefine it using int. No, the system doesn't like it. So that's also, derive this feature. A variable must be unique. So if you have the variable name for this, then no other variables can have the same name. Okay, must be unique in your application. Okay, and when we talk about that in the future, must be unique in your scope, not in your application. Application is a very big scope, so it must be unique in that scope. Okay, must be unique. All right, so then let's move on. So the name of the variable in the Java language are referred as identifiers. So the best naming convention is to choose a variable name that will tell the reader of the program what the variable represents. For example, if you wish to store a grade on a test, a variable name such as grade would be more easily remembered than a variable name such as var2, right? So this is some guidance for you to name a variable, but it's not required, okay? So also rules for naming a variable. So when you give variable name, these are the rules. So Aaron, can you help me read this one?
All
Aaron,
variable names must begin with a letter of the alphabet, an underscore, or underline, or $sign. The convention is to always use the letter of the alphabet. The $sign and underscore are discouraged. After the first initial letter, variable names may also contain letters and the digits 0 to 9. No spaces or special characters are allowed.
good. So remember that, and we do have other rules as well. So I wanted to get Alex to read this one. Alex.
The name can be of any length, but use common sense. All uppercase letters are primarily used to identify constant variables. You cannot use a Java keyword, reserved word, or a variable name.
Okay, very good. So that means, okay, you know those rules. So let me just show you the keywords Java has. I do not want you to memorize them now. When you use Java more, then you know what it meant, okay? So these are all keywords that Java already reserved them for its purpose. So you cannot name any variable with these names, okay? These are keywords. Java use it, right? So when we learn more about Java, then you will see that we use those keywords for some specific purpose. All right, so let's just move on then. So please spend and let me just skip that for this moment. Okay, so I will talk about that. These are Java primitive data types. If you wanted to take the AP Computer Science exam, so if you wanted to do that, Unit 1 is this topic. So let me just move on. So I'm doing a computer science AP class right now. I think every Tuesday I do that. You see, this is a units. It will test. So if you choose to do the AP Computer Science, then you need to learn it. So AP Computer Science test A. Okay. So the first one is primitive type. Primitive type is the things we start when you learn Java. That's what you start with. Okay. That's what you start with. So you have to learn them. So what are the primitive types? So then let me go back to the previous slide. And let me give you this. Let's just spend 3 minutes with this website as a start. So this comes from Java's owner. Now it's Oracle. Okay, Oracle owns Java. So this from Oracle's website. So let me just get that. And I can show you. And you see how many primitive types we have. And in one slide, I already showed you. So when you declare variable, I use the bat, I use the short, I use the integer, I use the long, right? Right? I think I just come use the int, and then I use the boolean, and I use the char character. Okay. So just spend some time read through this. Okay. Read through this part. How many types? The total is 8 primitive types. But if you do AP Computer Science, okay, Boolean, integer, and double are the 3 common primitive data types you will get tested on. Okay, Boolean, very important. Integer and double. Okay, go ahead and read it. Okay, once you come back, so you say in data type, the first one is bat. Bat actually is also an integer, right? So let's just talk about it. Because you come to the Java class, so I want you to get more knowledge, get it deeply into computer science. If you learn Python, it's much simpler, straightforward. Java is much more complicated, more powerful. Okay, so that's why I want you to learn a little bit more about it. You do not get into bit and byte when you learn Python. So you know what? Why Java is platform independent, and we said when you write your Java code, eventually it is compiled to a bad code. Okay, bad code. So when you compile to bad code, then the machine understands it. It can execute it, and that's why usually you see Java is much more efficient than Python. Python, you have to have the interpreter to read your code and then run it. In the Java, when you write your code, you have to compile it. Okay. Here we use Eclipse. Eclipse will compile it automatically for us. And if you do not understand it, so let me just show you one thing. Let me just expand this. Okay. In the you see, we have all the packages. I will come back to show you in the future. Again, you see, you have so many classes, right? So I have this AOE stem.java. So when it compiled, it will be AOE stem.class. So everything will become a class. This is compiled. Actually, your system really is reading this file, run this file, okay? It's run that file, and this file is a bad code file. So then let me come back to talk about this a little bit more, a bit of bad. So when you go back to the website, you see the bad data type is an 8-bit signed pure complement integer. So what does it mean? Okay, so it's 8-bit. Okay, so how many is a bit? Bit is a binary data. Okay, that is just 0 and 1, 0 and 1. That's a bit. So a byte, that means 0 and 1, 0 and 1, 0 and 1, 0 and 1, 8 times. 8 times, okay? 8 times. So in computer, it only understands on, off, on, off. On is 1, off is 0. So you put them together, then make it a number, right? If you only have on and off, you only have 0 and 1. But if you do a byte, then this makes sense. You can put a 0, 0, 1, 1. Okay? How many bytes, how many bits this have? 2 bits, right? That's 2 bits. So that will make sense now. So what exactly this number is. So that's, it's, I think it may be harder to you to understand it, but I really want you to understand a byte is 8 bit. Okay? 8 bit. So I want you to understand that, and I will have a lot more slides talk about. And then I want you to ask you, so what is this value? Actually, it is. So a byte is a unit of data that is 8 binary digits long. So if we have a binary value of 110, so what is the value of the number it represents? Then if I have a value of 1010 in the binary, then what is the real number for the window? It is 10, right? It is 10. So that means this one is 8, okay? Because every digits here it will only be 0 or 1. Okay, so that means 0 and 1. You understand it? So let me just put it away. So if I have 0, I know it is 0. If I have 1, I know it is 1. But now if I have 2, how can I do it? I have to do 0, 1. Oh, it should be 1, 0. That is 2, right? Then the 3, what is it? It will be 11, because you use this to count 1, and this count 2. You add them together. Now it's 3. So if I have 4, what it looks like? 4 will be 1, 0, 0. That is 4, because you don't have anything here. You don't have anything here. And this, you have 1. Okay, so that's 4. So I want you. So this is hard for you. I do not want you to remember. I also do not want to confuse you too much here. But let me just stop here, and we will come back to learn more about the data types. So I may skip all those. May be too hard for you guys. I think unless you get into the high school, I think you may understand it. But if you are in the middle school, it will be very hard. So I may skip them. Okay. So we'll come back and then we will learn more on the data types, like the chart data type. So we will just learn it. Okay. All right. So if you have question, you can stay. If not, yeah, the class is over, and I'm moving very slow now because I really want you to get into Java, understand it, then we will do it fast. Okay. Right now it's just so slowly to get you in. All right. So I don't have homework for you because right now you really cannot do much in Java. So I want you to have a basic concept first. You see, once you get the Boolean, then you see we will learn more about that. Okay. All right. So let me stop sharing here.